Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Spooked Coast to Coast. As always, your host, JJ Paranormal. We got Joy. How's it going, Joy?
Hi. Hello.
And Jen and Mondo 305 Paranormal. And I hope you guys did remember to set your clocks forward. I hope to see all you guys here. We have a great guest today. But babe, before we get to Chris and the amazing story that we have there, you had some announcements to say before we start.
Yes, first, happy International Women's Day to all our ladies out there.
Yes.
I got reminded because all my tias in Colombia sent me a message, and my tios, so I'm not one to keep track of those things. But I do know because of them, and then everybody else ends up sending me a message. So we kick ass. Yes, continue kicking butt. And then
especially all the ladies out there in the paranormal field that don't get a lot of the recognition for their badassery that they are. Special kudos to you guys, man. You guys rock.
Like Ashley
Thank
says,
you, Mondo. That was nice. Yes.
Absolutely. Real quick, I missed Limestone's premiere today. YouTube's fault. But today, please check out, they dropped their Haunted Gamble House video. Please check it out after this show, okay? I will not allow you to leave and check it out now. You're not allowed, only after here. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
And then Haunting Angels premieres on 3/13, which is Friday, and they went to the Post Town School, Haunted School. So look out for that.
I watched it. It was a good episode. Limestones was a good episode.
No, I got to watch it after.
Yeah.
See, Ashley's laughing.
There you go.
Yeah, I got you, girl.
Hey, the only way we're going to make this is together, guys. So please support the friends that we have in the show. Support them, and that way it just keeps the ball rolling. So, babe.
Yes.
Let's talk about our honored guest that's coming on today. You guys can Netflix and not chill. Definitely pay attention to the show that he's a part of. So, babe, why don't you please tell the good folks about our guest?
All right. So today we have an author, public speaker, and educator, and best known for his intense paranormal experience as a college student when he was up in Geneseo, New York. I know I'm probably saying that wrong. And
you got it right.
Yeah. So he had an experience that at the end, if you do watch the Netflix series, please go check it out. It's called A True Haunting. First 3 episodes are of his story, and his friends are in there, like his college classmates were there too, and they tell how their involvement is and everything, and it's really, really, really good and very interesting.
Yeah, and it's produced by James Wan, so a lot of the most popular horror genre films that he's produced, he actually produced these episodes. So you're talking about Conjuring, Insidious, the list goes on. Saw, I think he did some too. It's really well done.
Yeah, you like the jump scares. The jump scares. My little one, our oldest one was watching it with us, and every time like they show the entity, she was like,
"Oh my god,
mommy's seeing it, huh?" Kind of creepy. So it was very good.
Oh my gosh.
Let's please welcome Christopher DiCesare.
Hello.
Welcome, Chris.
Hi.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for being here.
Coming on.
So cool.
We appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
I found a place. You guys are so cool with the badassery. I know what to say. Let's talk about Ghost, baby. Let's talk about you. And
That's right.
So before we start, there is something that I learned from one of our friend Tommy interview when he had you on his show.
TC, what's up, buddy?
Tommy Collins. So you mentioned how Netflix got a hold of you, and I thought it was pretty funny because I probably would have treated it the same way and just been like, yeah, whatever, get out of here. And they kept being persistent and try to contact you. So I would love for you to share this, at least how they, before we get like the beginning, but like at least how they started contacting you and why you thought it was spam in the first place. But I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's probably an embarrassing story. Many people want to get exposure. They want to make it someplace where their brand gets out there, where they can share their experience and their evidence. Of course, it'd be a great way to do that, right? It's the biggest platform there is out in the world. But when I first received the email messaging, it was from a production company in London. And it said something about, we're going to make this docuseries. We're in London. Please contact us. I thought, that's probably spam. Delete. And so, about a week and a half later, I got a second email from them and same kind of thing. I'm like, that's probably spam. Delete. Then I was talking to John Zaffis, Haunted Collector, from the show on Sci-Fi years ago. And I knew him for a number of years. He's very smart, very kind. And I said, hey, John, this company, oh my gosh, they're great. That's a big company. What? They did a Race for the White House, and they did Gold Rush, and the Vatican Girl, and you should call them. Oh my God! So I felt terrible. So I'm back to my trash bin. I found the emails and responded, and then after that, things were pretty good. They were nervous, like we couldn't get a hold of you. We kept trying. I'm like, yeah, it's my bad. So there it was. That's how it all began with the spam.
That is hilarious. So guys, do not spam Netflix or whatever, or a company, a production company trying to contact you. I would have done the same thing.
There are so many emails out there where they want your car insurance and warranty to be, renewed or things like that, or click here to stop your account from being hacked. You click and then the hack itself. So I didn't know what was going on, and luckily I had some good people around me. I always have been very fortunate to have good people around me that lead me the right direction, and they were just incredible. It's All Three Media. Raw Productions in London, and just wonderful people. They were charged by Netflix to create a docuseries. They wanted 3 or 4 hauntings, ones that it could prove with witnesses and locations, not just people in the basement smoking pot and seeing something. They wanted something real they could find evidence for. James Wan felt that it's almost to the point now where those movies are almost like a joke. People go to horror movies, they laugh a lot. It's like a joke, and he felt that these things actually do happen, and so how do we reboot the industry where we actually have people who struggle with these extreme hauntings? How do you present that? And so, very, very luckily for us, they chose us as one of the topics to examine.
Nice. It was very good too. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm very glad that they did reach out to you.
Yeah, that was an incredible.
And you dug out the spam and contacted them back.
Yeah,
it was not a guarantee thing, because even though the production company liked what we did and who we were and things, Netflix wasn't too keen on it. They have these people called commissioners for each area of what they produce, and that's out in LA. And it's funny to think they gave a one-word response, one word, to the pitch from Raw to Netflix, and that was dusty. Dusty. We were dusty. I thought,
my God.
What does that mean? And it's kind of like a bunch of old guys, white dudes from 40 years ago. It's not really cool right now. I'm like, hey. But I knew that once they heard what we had to say and what we went through, they would then like it and enjoy it. And sure enough, they thought, oh my God, this is incredible. This is great. So it just goes to show you that young, old, male, female, whatever, we have our lens that we see the world through. And so that's okay. We earned that lens. But it's important to keep an open mind. It's important to allow yourself the opportunity to meet people who may not be the same as you are, and to see what makes them tick and what they can do for the world. And I really thought that was a cool thing that happened that way. And then they talked about my friends. Instead of just me talking to a screen, they brought in Jeff and Linda and Beth and Father Charlie and my dad and Craig. And how cool is that to actually, see all these young people trying to survive back then. And I'm very, very proud of the show for that reason, especially.
And speaking of that, how did you feel just to find out? Of course, you're going to be on the show and on Netflix and the series and whatnot, but they put you in the leadoff spot. Like, you're opening the show.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
They had a bunch of different plans. They went through a first director, a second director, a research director. Things keep shuffling and changing all around. And so it kept on changing and morphing what they were going to do. But they did say that they wanted to have it where they weren't sure, the viewer, if I was alive or dead at first. And so even though you hear my voice, at the very beginning it goes, boom, and you hear 1, 2. They didn't know it's my voice, but it was so cool. It's like, that's really cool. And during the voiceovers, I got to see some of the rough cuts, but I didn't see the final cut the way it actually ended until that day it came out, October 7th, at 3 a.m. here. I was put the TV on. I had my covers over my head, and I'm watching it at 3 a.m. going, this is so cool. So it's fascinating how that worked. It was a struggle for me because, and I feel like I'm probably going to complain for no reason because it's quiet. But one of the things that comes with any risk is reward and or failure, right? The harder you swing, the farther the ball goes if you hit it. You might miss and strike out if you have a wild swing. And so Netflix is kind of like a wild swing. And I knew that if they chose us to put out there, we'd be seen by 5, 8, 10 million people. You cannot buy that kind of exposure anywhere in any way. However, they edit everything. And they can put words together, scenes together to make you look like an absolute moron, to be intolerant, to be crazy. So I was a little worried about how they present me because whatever they put out there, that's how I was in Colombia and Brazil and Peru. That's how I was in the Philippines and Czechoslovakia and those places in Finland. But we worked very hard. I pushed back a lot. There were the end of day one. I said to myself, I don't like what's happening. I called my friends and said, just so you know, I might pull the plug. What? Because they would also want to be on Netflix. It's kind of cool. But they said, listen, it's your experience. If you think this isn't going right, we will support you. We've never said about it. So I said, fine. And so the next day I went in and I was all ready to go. Had my cell phone. I said, right here, I said, the train leaves back from my home at 11:30 in the morning. I'll be on that train unless you fix what's going on. What? And I didn't like the way they were starting things off. It seemed like they were trying to create me as though I were in a funk. I was depressed. I was sad. I was alone. And that wasn't the case at all. I wasn't doing Ouija boards and summoning things. I was so happy. I was running fast. I was healthy. I was happy. I was popular. Life was wonderful. And I said to them, that's actually more intriguing because I wasn't looking for it, right? That's even more fascinating than why did it come to me then? And so after that first encounter, they decided that before every time we went into a session of interviewing, they would tell me what they were going to ask and why, where they were going with it. So I had some confidence because I said, this is your product, right? But it's my life. You can do a different product. That's cool. I can't get my life back if you change it the way I don't want it. So and I tell my students, I'm a special education teacher, don't lie. You can say you're sorry. You can say, I don't know. Just don't lie. I don't want to have me lying to the world based on your editing and things. So, and to their credit, they did a great job. Mark Lewis and Melissa McLean and Simon Mills and Kelly Nobe, they did a great job of going off the script of Netflix, allowing me to say what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say at the end, now that I shared all this, I can put it all behind me. I've left this place, it's all behind me. And at the end, I said, no, I haven't left. All that pain, I own. This is part of who I am. Like, all right, keep that. And I kept going off script, but and I guess that's okay. And I also knew that I kind of had them because they already filmed Jeff and Father Charlie and Linda. So I knew that they couldn't not do it now after all the years invested. It took 4.5 years to make the show. So I knew at that point in time. But again, I used my power responsibly to give to the masses something that was actually valid in terms of who we were as people.
Oh, I like that too, because at the same time, you got to think about it. None of us knows you.
Right.
That our first impression of you is that show. So if you didn't essentially put your foot down and say, hey, I want this, that, this, our first impression of you would have been the first draft of what you didn't like,
I was so angry. I was so angry.
Yeah. Were there any parts of the story that you wish the producers put in that didn't make it to the film?
I never thought about that. I was so busy trying to defend myself from what wasn't being accurate. I never thought to myself what should go in there.
Yeah.
Let me just think for a second. I think it would have been cool if they had been able to get my roommate Paul, who fled the college. That'd have been cool. He's never talked about it publicly. 9 years after the events, after he left the college, just middle of the semester, one of a researcher named Alan Lewis found him living not too far from the college and interviewed him. And he said, listen, that was crazy time. I'm glad Chris is okay. That thing tried to get me. It told me that, it would to leave Chris alone or it would take me out and things. So I had to leave. I'm so sorry I did that, but I just had to put it behind me. And he talked about it one time, kind of like his catharsis. And then ever since then, he hasn't talked about it ever again. That's kind of his one and done. but he loved that band called Rush, you know, and he played it all the time. And I'm sure that if I said, go get a guitar, have somebody Rush sign the guitar, he'll show up. But they didn't take me up on the offer, so that would have got him there. But I wish he was there because he was the second person to see the thing, and he saw it like I saw it without any pre-knowledge, with no warning. And that's a pretty powerful thing, to actually leave the college, to leave behind some of your clothes, your posters, just zip out of there. That speaks to trauma. But again, that's just my own personal thing. I'd love to see him on there. But I thought having my father was a cool thing. My dad is 82 years old. I always wanted to make him proud through my schoolwork, through my running. He worked 3 jobs when I was a kid to put a roof over our head and put food on the table. And so I was make him proud. And to have him on that show saying just that, he was proud of me. Well, I could put that on in 5 years and 10 years. I could see his face, hear his voice, and think, all right, Pops, you got this, you know? So that's another cool thing about it.
Oh, I love that.
That was really nice. Yeah, I thought I loved his input. And you can tell how he felt about you, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I'm proud. And, you know, we mentioned too about the Dusty thing. You know, my dad grew up not too far from New York City. And my dad was too dark for the white teens. He was too light for the dark teens. So he was in the middle. He never belonged anywhere. And it's very important to him in the 60s to try to create equality. He became a principal and had the first Head Start program in New York State to feed kids in the city their breakfast in the mornings. They had something to have. So we were raised to, I don't know if it was colorblind, but not to let someone's appearance dictate what they wore in your life, but rather their actions. And so that's one of the reasons why when they said we're Dusty, I'm like, we got this. You know, this happens to people all the time. And we're not, you know, we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to face this and we're going to do a great job. And we live in a tough time, and I still believe that people can find good in each other.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So you kind of mentioned a little bit before. I was going to ask you from the beginning, even prior to this experience, did you have any sensitivity to like spirit or anything at all, or any paranormal at all, or no? That this was the very first time.
Well, nothing like that. After the Warren Symposium, when they spoke at the college, Jeff was, of course, enthralled by what happened. Why wouldn't Lorraine shake your hand? And they didn't show it in the film and the docuseries, but Ed tossed me off the stage. It wasn't just like, goodbye, son. It was like the bump. I'm like, hey, in front of hundreds of people. My feelings are kind of hurt, you know? And so instead of going on the ghost walk with them around the campus, what people went on, I went back to my room like, oh, Huffy, poof, poof, they're so rude, but right. And so Jeff started asking me, well, she must have sensed something. Do you have anything in your past that might have maybe brought something to her mind? Do you have any sensitivities and things like that? And there's one thing I could recall. About a year prior, my great uncle, his name was John, he was coming out of church. I used to go to church with my family on Sunday. We really had to do it. A lot of time, I mean, it was a good thing to do, but sometimes I got bored because the same thing was read every time. I knew everything the priest would say, but it was good practice. Anyway, but we came out of the mass, and he walked over to me, and he started to talk in slow motion. Hi, Chris, how are you? I thought, okay, this is odd. Then I saw around him like mist, like a white mist or a cloud. I'm thinking, okay, this is definitely not normal. And he was talking to me like he hadn't seen me in like 50 years. I just saw the week prior. I didn't understand why he was just so happy to see me. Like, oh my gosh, what a great opportunity this was. And so on the way back to the car, I said to my family, I said, wasn't it weird, everybody, how like Uncle Johnny was talking in slow motion with a cloud around his head? Yeah, yep, okay, right, sure. No one saw that or heard that, you know. I think my dad said something like, too many comic books you're reading, you know, it's like that. He died 2 days later. So I knew there was a connection. I knew. And so even though I was a young kid, I wanted to be a pallbearer. I wanted to carry his casket to the grave because I felt in some way he said goodbye to me in a way that was a beginning for me. And so I got to prove to that. And I was very proud to carry his casket as they laid it into the ground. And so that's the one thing I could tell Jeff that had happened. But it's nothing like ghosts and things talking and throwing things. But what happened at college, I didn't think was actually possible. I didn't think that would be, because, you know, if it happened all the time, we know about it. You can see Saturn with a telescope, even though you can't see it with your eyes. You can see Paramecia, the little legs, you know, with a microscope. Those things exist, although we can't really see them. but there's no ghost goggles. We're like, hey, hi, Grandma. We don't have that, and so, and I make it's a funny joke, but it's the truth. There was 2 ghosts in my life. There was Casper, la 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 la, the family ghost in the cartoons, and there was Jesus, so between that was people, so I had no idea that could happen. And my dad was a science teacher and taught biology and physics, chemistry, and so we were encouraged to talk about those things, and so it wasn't in my mind. In fact, the Warrens, I didn't go because I wanted to go. Jeff thought they were cool, and Jeff said, hey, it's free. I'm like, well, okay, and so I just thought it was cool stories like Game of Thrones or things like that, Stranger Things, but that the presentation was pretty cool.
Man. Well, mentioning the Warrens, do you think about it in hindsight? Like, what was it that you think that she saw in you, so that how it played out in the show was exactly like how it happened in real, like,
yeah,
in real life, I guess.
Yeah, they had a challenge. They had to compress years and years into like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be 3 hours long, but the second they couldn't find the third haunting, and the second one came out to be like an hour, so they had to condense ours in half to make it more balanced, because otherwise you have 3 hours. It would be really cool to see more of what we filmed. But yeah, in the show, she kind of like looks at me and says, no bad, and then off I go. In reality, when I got to the top of the stage, she wouldn't shake my hand, and she said something to the effect of, I won't shake your hand because I don't want to know my future. I thought, well, that is bizarre. And it wasn't until about 27 years later, maybe 30 years later, where I was at an event and a woman came up to me, a very attractive young lady, and she said, hi, you're the ghost boy, right? I said, yes, they call me the ghost boy, yes. He goes, your name is Chris. I'm like, yeah, that's my real name. My mom loves you. I'm like, oh, who's your mom? Lorraine. I'm like, Lorraine Warren. I'm like, yeah, you have the wrong Chris. You're thinking of somebody else, because when I met them, they weren't. No. I know what happened, and she explained to me, and I needed to hear this because I was sad for a long time about the whole interaction. Their parents would go on a barnstorming tour. They go from college to college to college and share their experiences. They're paid by the activity fees and things, and they went each day. And she didn't like going to those because she didn't like ghosts herself. The idea scared her. She wasn't really part of that, so she'd go in the car with them to these events and usually wait either in the car or hotel room when she'd do her word searches and crossword puzzles and things. But she remembers at Geneseo at night, her mom coming back talking about me, saying, this is a blonde-haired kid. Oh my God, his aura was crazy. He's like, his energy was so strong. So she used the word vibrant that it blocked me. I couldn't read things. I couldn't glean anything. I couldn't do what I'm paid to do, make those connections. So we had to get him off the stage. But boy, that was amazing. So here I thought for three decades that, oh my gosh, she doesn't like me, or I'm bad, or they're mean, or it just turns out that I misunderstood the moment, which made me very happy, because some of what she said at the presentation actually helped me during the haunting. Some of the advice that she gave I thought was pretty cool. And I did have a chance to meet her, an opportunity about 3 years before she passed. But at that point in time, she already had dementia. And she didn't really know all that much. She talked about her roosters a lot. I was told that she may or may not recognize you. Don't be upset. She doesn't remember you who you are anymore. She might be. I thought, you know what? The first time I talked to her, I alarmed her. I don't want to go back now, decades later, and she's not with it. And then scare her again, where I'm bookending 2 negative experiences. So out of respect, and this is hard to do, out of respect for her and what she was going through, I declined the opportunity to meet with her. It was the right thing to do. It kind of tore me up inside, because I just wanted to actually go and shake her hand and give her a little kiss and say thank you. But sometimes you have to think of other people before yourself. And one thing that I did get from Judy, which is very nice, is this bookend. It's from her dad's library. It's a Spanish monk bookend. They got it to Europe. It's a cool thing in my house. So I thought it was kind of neat. So I have that at least. So that's a nice thing. So just goes to show you, even if you feel you're smart, you're informed, you can feel it in your bones. Sometimes you can still be wrong about a person or an event.
Yeah, definitely. That I never even thought about that, but it's a lot better knowing that that's how really what was happening, not the more negative way, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just sad that it took 3 decades to
It's
really.
I didn't want to go there and be yelled at again or kicked out.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
Let's
At least
say
you found out.
You get on a motorcycle, you burn your leg. That's it. I mean, you're done with motorcycles. That's it.
Yeah.
That's not logical, but you're done. So same thing. I met them once. It was really embarrassing. Going to talk to the stage in front of hundreds of people. I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, that'll probably be me too. So don't feel bad. I mean,
Chris, when you first saw the entity, so for everybody who doesn't know, right? You were aspiring to be a runner, right? A track in the Olympics.
Olympian, right?
Yeah. And so you were in college, and this was your first year ever there, and you have everything going for you. Like, you're excited again, like any young person would be, off of college, out of parents' house, doing your own thing. Who's not gonna love that? Right. And you had all this stuff started happening where you're questioning, like, people are they pulling a prank on me? Like, am I being stressed from studies and not sleeping and doing all this crazy stuff? Mm-hmm. I totally blank where the hell I was going with this. But either way, when this first happened, did it look like what it was? Like, it being a soldier, did it look like that to you now, thinking back at it?
Well, you brought up three things. Let me go in a row, because you brought up three cool things I can address for your audience. The first thing was, yes, I was a good runner. I didn't really love it, but it felt good to win. I had a good talent that I could use. It got me into college with a scholarship. People thought I was cool. All right, I'm going to run. And it wasn't a pipe dream, as they call it, the Olympics. In my senior year of high school, I raced against a gentleman named John Troutman, and I beat him by 1 second. He wanted to break my course record. We both did, but I eased him out a little bit at the end. He, in 1992, ran the Olympic Games in Barcelona, Spain. In the finals of the 5,000 meter, got 8th in the world. So it wasn't as though I just said that to tell people, look how cool I am. I really had a nice talent. That was nice. So that's the background of that. That's what I wanted to be, a runner. I wanted to be in the Wheaties box. I wanted to wave the flag of the U.S. I was very proud. My relatives, my dad's side came here and not long before, and they worked in factories, and they carried boxes and mixed paint, and it was cool to have them see their grandson maybe get out there and do something cool. I was very proud of my ancestry and my family. I thought it was really cool to have that, And the second thing you had mentioned too is about college and things. It was actually my second year of college. It was even more strange. So the first year through, they portrayed like the first one to make it, oh no, poor Chris is overwhelmed. I wasn't overwhelmed. I had the first year been on the varsity team as a freshman. I had made the dean's list. Nice. I got like the dorm council. I was posing for the art classes for the naked posing. I was living life, That's why it's so strange that out of nowhere this thing kind of pushed through. First, I heard this voice, Chris, just like in the air. I thought maybe it was a practical joke, as you said. And, I was pretty fast. I ran to the door and there's nobody around. I thought, that's really weird. And I put headphones on, you saw on the show. And then I still heard it talking in headphones. I think that's impossible. And then, as you mentioned, well, is it a gas leak in the room? Are there drugs in my food? Is it a practical joke? Is it mass hysteria? I was hypnotized. I was looking for rational answers to what ended up after a series of days and days and days being one thing, which is the paranormal. They show in the Netflix docuseries The Thing Outside the Window at the Toga Party. At the time, I thought it was some strange dude out there and maybe strung out on drugs or angry from some kind of fight with his girlfriend. I didn't know who he was. It looked weird to me. But when I began to see the ghost, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's that thing. So it wasn't until afterwards I realized it didn't show up on February 12 or 11. It was there a week or two prior. Yikes. And that party happened before the Warrens came too. So I'm thinking, that's really weird. So people said, maybe the Warrens brought it to you. No, it was there before the Warrens got there. That's one of the theories people had. The Warrens show up, they bring their stuff with them out here, but it wasn't the case at all. It was here already. The first time I saw it, it looked like a young adult male. I don't know, 18, 19, 20, something like that. He looked similar to me, a little taller, a little darker, slightly broader, but he could be like a friend of mine, like a college student, with the exception that his neck was tilted like it was broken like this. His mouth was hanging open. His eyes were like vacant, like he was dead. I'm thinking, no, that is crazy. The worst part was that he was emerging out of the stereo, Paul had a giant, huge stereo system, and the thing was standing in it. So like its waist and above was out of the stereo, and its legs and stuff were inside of it, like that Vision and the Avengers stuff nowadays. And I did that right. So I literally pinched my leg, make sure I wasn't sleeping. Nope, I would hurt him alive. Then very bravely I screamed, ah! And I ran into that room. When it showed up, I was eating these things, hot tamales candies.
Oh, I love those.
I was eating this, and the candies went everywhere when I bravely screamed. You know, so when Jeff later on went to see what was going on in the room, he said, "There's candy everywhere." I'm like, "That's weird." You know, I panicked that way. I was trying to stay calm, and that's when I ran into the room next door, which had Craig and Ed, who's not in the series, and Jeff. And then I panicked. I can't believe I panicked. There's a ghost, and that's when Jeff said, "Pretty cool."
Pretty cool.
Chris, what I did want to ask was, all right, so then you and Jeff go back to the room. Like, I wanted to know if as far as Netflix wise, if they captured it the way it was really, or if it was sometime after. But then, so you and Jeff were in your room, and you kind of invite the spirit in to be able to communicate, and then that's when Jeff was snapping the picture, and he got the image of the spirit. Right. Was that all like around the same time frame, or was that spread out, or was that accurate, like how Netflix?
It was pretty good. The 11th of February is when we first I heard the voice, me. The 12th is when I saw it, and I screamed and ran out, next door to say something's crazy. Early in the morning, the 13th, that same night in the morning, Paul saw it and described the same thing I saw. That's the end of episode 1, where it goes at the end. That's exactly how it happened, except we didn't hear. That's just a special effect, that the sound, but it was just looked like that. It was crazy. I'm like, ooh, they got it. And then Paul had said, we need to get out of here. We got to call a priest. Now, here's the interesting thing. Paul was an atheist. He didn't believe there was a God. Religion was controlling people. He wanted his freedom. It's so stupid. It's invisible person up there doesn't exist. That's dumb. And yet he took one look at that thing and said the next morning, let's go get a priest. So it shows you the impact that had on his psyche and his belief system. It changed literally overnight. When Jeff heard that Paul and I wanted to maybe go and get a priest to exercise or bless, whatever they do, we didn't know, right? He said, wait. Before that happens, because the priest might get rid of it, right? Like in the movies. Let's get some proof of that. So on Valentine's Day, of all the days, that's Valentine's Day right there. On Valentine's Day, I'm supposed to go out with these girls. Nope, I'm in the room with Jeff. I'm thinking, my life is really stupid and weird. And Jeff says, let's get some evidence. So we go into the room, C2D1. He brought with him a fish tank thermometer. It floats in the water, a fish tank thermometer.
Yeah.
On the table, that would then show the temperature differences. He brought a camera, pen. He was like an investigator before that actually happened. They were a thing. As a kid, I used to watch TV shows like In Search of, and That's Incredible. And I always wanted to believe in something. There's something out there, UFOs, Bigfoot, something. And as they get older, there was nothing really that you could prove. You thought, oh, they're damn fairy tales. So when I come running in the room going, oh my God, I saw a ghost. He's like, what? So for him, it was the answer to his dreams. Maybe there's more than just pushing the clock, eating, sleeping, dying. He thought it was really cool. And so we went there because of him. And I said, what do we do now? He goes, we're going to call the ghost. I'm like, call the ghost? What are you talking about? He says, well, just call its name. I'm like, I don't know its name. I throw things and I run. What are you talking about? Well, pick a name. I said, I don't know, Tommy. Tommy was my parakeet. That's all I could think of, right? It turns out he asked Paul. He said Tommy independently. He asked Beth and Linda down the hall. They said Tommy. Like, Tommy, can you hear me? When it was Tommy Knocker. So everybody said Tommy independently for different reasons. So he thought, okay, this thing's name is Tommy because they're all saying that. And so he had me kneel on the ground, like you see right there, and put my arms out. And the second they saw, I'm like, Jeff, this is stupid. I'm kneeling on the ground facing my closet. This is like, duh. And I figure I'll do that a couple minutes, and then nothing will happen. We'll go to the Valentine's party. Win-win. Yeah. So he's writing his notes down. The room starts to get cold. He goes, look, the temperature dropped like 8 degrees. I'm like, I know, I'm right here. Like, right? The closet door unlatches, and I can see the thing in the closet. I'm like, oh, no. It's not supposed to be happening. And this cold breeze comes out, and you can see in that photograph where my shirt's blowing back, my sleeve is being pushed back, the cardboard's being bent. So I said, Jeff, take the picture. I asked him to take the picture of the ghost. But he didn't see the ghost. He just saw me. So he turned to me and he went, we're just doing a cool picture, right? Because it shows the effect of the environment. That's why it shouldn't be there at all like that. You shouldn't be having your shirt being blown back, a heavy sweatshirt in a closed room. That should be happening. So that's a cool picture regardless, right? So then the thing, either because it was startled by the flash from the camera or it was angry, it came right out of the door, went right through my body. And the best I can tell you is that in terms of how that felt, because that was not something I ever wanted to happen or hope it happens again, is that if you're outside in the heat and you're weeding the garden or you're, doing some work outside, you're all hot. Ooh, it's like 94 out. Whew. You get a cold glass of water or iced tea or lemonade and you drink it and it goes and you feel it on your throat like, it felt like every cell of my body froze like cold and then unfroze. I just fell forward onto my face. I'm like, that's it. I'm out of here. Right. And so then Jeff goes, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I said, I don't care. Just please, if you see it, where'd it go? And so I looked over and above my bed, on a big loft, I had a stuffed animal, a pickle animal, super pickle. After my modeling days, is a joke from the girls. It moved by itself. And he goes, look, I see it. I'm like, yeah, there's the ghost. I saw the ghost right above my pillow, above my bed, looking at me. I said, that's the ghost. Take his picture. Where? Jeff, the dead thing looking at us. That's the ghost. Take his picture. Chris, I don't see it. I'm like, how can you not see it? It's looking right at us. It's got the blue on it. So he's brilliant, Jeff. He said, if you see it, take my camera, you get the picture. I'm like, I'll get one, I'm out. So I took his camera. It's a big 35mm. It's a cool, expensive camera. I'll probably drop it, right? I'm like, listen, I hit the flash, boom, it goes, boom, I ran. So
I love that.
I'm sorry, I bravely ran on purpose. And that he's back in those days, you didn't have cell phones, so you would either go send it away to Rhode Island to get 4x6 prints 2 weeks later, or you went to like a photo mat or photo booth, which like in the mall someplace, and they did a 1-hour photo kind of thing. That's what he did, and then he couldn't believe. He was amazed. He was amazed that right where I pointed, even though he didn't see it, right where I said it was at that time, take the picture, there was a human skeleton. He went to the library. He guaranteed the bones and things, labeled the bones. And that's when things got crazy because how can you not tell somebody? How can you not tell anybody you just got a picture of a dead spirit? I mean, we said we wouldn't say anything. And you can see in the show, we were very upset about betraying that promise we had. And I was upset because people started calling me the ghost boy, but he's a good guy. He's a good person. He's a good man today, and people make mistakes. I get it, but that's how everything got out there into the campus with the ghost boy thing.
And he was excited. I mean, it seemed like he was, obviously it was in good intentions, but you get excited to see something like that and something he's been interested in his whole life. So of course, yeah.
Jen, it's like if someone says to you, Jen, Bonnie's pregnant. Like, don't say anything. I won't.
You're like,
I heard, don't say anything. Bonnie's pregnant. Oh, that's cool. Hey, Mata, listen, people just do that just to it's exciting. So it's human nature. We also recognize saying anything, but we don't mean publicly or a lot, just a little bit. Just he was excited. I mean, this changed his life. This allowed him to believe once again there might be something out there that's not just mundane, that's something spiritual, some life beyond death. And how cool would that be, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So you mentioned something that different from the Netflix series, that this was your second year, and that
correct
leads me to ask something I wanted to ask you. I don't know if anybody's asked you this before, but do you think that was your second year there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think even thinking about going there, what you wanted to do was come to think about maybe that was ever influenced about your family ties to what happened? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
You even going there and then everything worked out in a way where it wanted you to.
It's weird because it's like people say that things are meant to be.
Right.
Then people say, no, there's free will. And I'm like, wait, it can't be both. You can't have things meant to be and then there's free will because then they'll conflict. Where's the line? So, you saw that person, love at first sight, meant to be. That girl gets cancer, she's 5. Then why is that meant to be? I don't in other words, I couldn't quite put that in there. I can tell you that in thinking about those things, when I got to Geneseo, it's when I got a scholarship to Quinnipiac College, which is in Connecticut, I got a full ride there. I got a full scholarship to Wittenberg in Ohio and some other place. But I went to Geneseo for 2 reasons. One, it was a half scholarship, so in case I failed out and pay all the money, But the main reason was it just felt like home. I got there, I said, this feels like I belong here. Just felt like it sounds silly, right? I mean, I can't really tell you why I felt that way. Just right away, I'm going to go here. I told my parents, like, are you sure? Yes. So I did have an impulse to be there. We didn't know actually about the connections to the family until years later. They had to compress everything. We found out about the connection to my family in 2012. So you're talking how many, almost 30 years later, we found out when we were talking with the sci-fi people for the sci-fi show. We thought maybe it was some kid who hung himself in the closet, maybe somebody who had died at a battle nearby there, maybe somebody who we didn't know. I went to the police station to look up like suicides and things because of the neck. We thought maybe they hung themselves, and we reached out to some families to see who it could be. We had no clue about the connection between the Revolutionary War until my mom of all people had retired and was doing genealogy. And she's like, oh, we got an ancestor, my 6 generations back, uncle and grandpa, they fought in your area for the Patriots against the British and the Native Americans. I'm like, that's cool, Mom. How's Dad? Good, And then she called back about a week later. Oh, yeah, so this guy, our ancestors found this guy by a tree. He'd been killed by these Native Americans. His name was Thomas something. I'm like, what? Yeah, they found this Thomas guy was hung from a tree and right by your college. And I'm like, what? Yeah, they found it. They buried his body for him. I'm like, holy cow. Now, the weird thing for me was that when I talked to the ghost, finally at the very end of that experience, it had said to me, if you ever get brave, and I finally did, ask questions of it. Not questions like, how you feeling?
How you doing?
But real questions, right. Yeah. So I asked him, why are you here? He said he made a mistake. So much pain. I asked where he was from. He said Danville. And it turns out that Thomas Boyd, the soldier who was killed in Western New York, was from Danville, Pennsylvania. So I'm like, it's like whoosh, all came back. So the name Thomas, the place he came from, the injuries, and to me, I had to sit down. I almost passed out because that information was as strange, as powerful, as amazing as seeing the ghost and the experience in the first place. So Jeff always said to me, this story wants to be told. It just has to get out there. It's pressing and pressing and pressing. And it always had, I just know how to share something so terrifying. I learned basically that I had survived. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how people go through depression, anxiety, bankruptcy, divorce, loss of a child, addiction. What's the key to those things? Surviving them and being strong and still liking life. So I began to think, okay, I can talk about this after 25, 30 years because I know I survived it. Not so much about who the ghost was at that point in time, but just the fact that we all go through hard times. I got through mine, but you get through yours. And that's the lens in which I began to share. Again, not ghosts per se, because who sees ghosts? 10%, 30%, 40%, but everybody has struggles. Everybody gets in these moments where I just can't do this anymore. And you have to learn how to get some sleep at night and you eat your food and things like that, So, and that's, I think, the reason why this experience has been shared on Travel Channel and sci-fi and radio shows and movies and Netflix, because everyone relates to trauma. Everyone relates to trying to get through something that's so difficult.
That's very true. Yeah.
And
it's they say that a lot of people who experience paranormal stuff around their life, they kind of had something when they were younger, or something traumatic is happening to them, and then they have an experience. So somehow it ties in there.
Definitely. I think so.
Did you ever encounter him after the fact?
No, I didn't see him again after I had that conversation. I said to him, look, the two major differences between the actual experience and the show are the dates. They're off because they only had a few months to film, and the haunting happened over a period of 3 or 4 months. The weather changes. They did it all in the fall, so the dates are a bit off. The other thing was the location of the final encounter. When they did focus groups of the docuseries, there was one negative, and that was that you're in the room, you're in the college, you're in the room. So they set the final encounter out by the torture tree. In reality, it happened in the room. I went back to my room. I was talking to Craig. Craig challenged me, saying, listen, this is bad. You're a ghost. Like, it's not my ghost, right, whatever. This ghost that's focused on you is hurting people. It knocked Beth out. It held Linda down. It went after Brian. It attacked me. It was really bad stuff. They only showed some of the stuff that happened. And he said, you got to be brave and face it. You can't hide behind your running skills or your parents or your popularity. You just got to face it. And so I walked in there. I said, okay. He goes, no clothes. I was in the shower. He goes, oh. So I went in there butt ass naked. I went to the room and I lit a candle. And then I said, okay, I know you can hear me. I'm going to break the blessing. I'm going to talk to you one time. This is it. Never again. So get here now, or I don't give a damn about you. You can rot in hell for all I care. Now's the time. You bothered me for months. And sure enough, all the candle flickered. I'm like, oh, what have I done? This is stupid, right? I was so brave until it happens. Like, oh, this is a mistake. Right? Then I see the shadow on the wall behind my head come across the wall. I'm like, oh, no. I saw the marks on my back from being scratched, And so I turned my hips to the door because I know from soccer, hips control your motion. So I'm like, got my hips going this way just in case I got to run, my back. And I'm just staring naked, right? And there he was, boom, in front of me. I'm like, oh, God. But it didn't smell. I thought for sure it'd smell like a disease or nothing. It just like a cold freezer, like an ice box. Thank God. And I saw him. And there he was, And that's how I had the conversation. And I said, listen, I know one thing. You want my help? I don't know why you want my help, but you can't stay here. Know this. The more you stay here, the more people get hurt. It's not working. It's bad. You're causing problems. It's making more suffering. You have to trust me then. You have to trust my words. You need to find rest. Someone who still loves you. Whatever you did can be forgiven. But you need, listen to my words, to find rest. You follow me around for months for my help. That's my help. Leave. You can't stay here. I'm going to count to 10. Like when I first night I saw you. When I get to 10, you cannot be here. He put his hand out. I'm like, no, I'm not taking your hand. I put my hand behind my back. You have to go. Believe me. And I started counting. 1001, 1002, 1003. And I was so scared. And then I got to 10, opened my eyes, expecting to see him right here, like in the movies. No, nothing. And the next day or two, there were no breezes, no flashing clocks, no shadows, no voices, no apparitions. I'm like, whoa. And after a few days, Jeff and the rest kept saying, hey, I haven't heard about the ghost. Have you heard? Then I sat Jeff down, the same place he asked me about the Warren presentation, same desk. And I said, just so you know, here's what happened. And Jeff wrote down about the day that the ghost boy put the spirit to rest. And that's how the legend grew from there. It happened.
Wow.
I wanted to ask about the friendships, and then what happened to you in the bathroom. You were saying, so that's factual, like how Netflix happened.
Yeah.
The incidents with Beth and Linda, were those accurate as well?
Yeah. Linda's
insane.
Spot on because she was there and she actually was able to recall some of the things that happened to her. Beth had spoken about that in a prior show on Sci-Fi in 2012, but not really keep talking about those things, so they had to rely on her past testimony to do what she had expressed and seen. We found Beth, Jeff, and I. We were supposed to go out someplace, and she didn't show up. She was always punctual, never was late, and so we got to her dorm room in the college, and it was like open partially like a jar. And we could see her bare feet not moving. I'm like, oh, geez. So I kicked her up. I kicked her open. No fingerprints. In case it was like a homicide, boom. And she wasn't moving. Her room was trashed. Her light was smashed on the floor. The couch upside down. And she had a boyfriend who wasn't always kind. I thought, oh, my God, he beat the crap out of her. Let's make sure she's okay. Call an ambulance. Then we'll go get the guy or call the cops. We'll decide which is smarter at that point in time, right? So as we got over, I saw she was breathing. So I leaned over. I said, Beth. And she opened her eyes. She goes, what are you doing here? I'm like, you're on the ground. And she told me how she heard the thing call her name, Chris. I mean, my name is Chris. And now she started throwing things to get rid of it, and then she just passed out from the fear. But we thought she was dead. And then the Linda thing, Judy, who's in the show, or the character anyway, got us in a room saying that Linda's being held down in her bed. She can't get up. She's screaming for help. So we ran down there real quick, And those pictures you saw of her in the bed, just pictures. Jeff put his camera up. I'm like, Jeff, wait. Don't take them out getting permission first. Ask her permission for that because it's okay. I don't care. Take pictures, whatever it takes. Just get the thing off me. So that's what we did. Jeff took pictures. I put my hands over her. I felt the cold energy. I said, listen, you don't want her. You want me. You don't want her. You want me. I promise you I'll talk to you. Just leave her alone. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? I promise I'll talk to you. Just leave her alone. The tough thing was that after my attack and after it got blessed, the room got blessed, it wanted me to talk to her. I didn't want to. But by attacking my friends, they said, Chris, come help me. Chris, come help me. He was smart to figure out if he attacks them, I coded him. I thought this was smarter than I am. Everything it kept doing kept bringing me to him. It knew more than me. It had more wisdom than I had. It had lived longer. It's just I kind of brought like a knife to a gunfight. It was scary, but I had to keep hoping that if I was honest, if I was open-minded, if I meant well, it had to mean something in the end, you know. And so those scenes were very, very well done. With the shower attack, that's very fascinating to me. Again, I didn't expect that. The priest had blessed the room. It was nice. The following morning, I ran in the first annual Geneseo Olympiad, that outdoor mile run, and I ran that, got first place, felt kind of cool. But I did a 9-mile cool down. So I'm out in the woods running past that tree, not knowing what it was at the time. I mean, you're running, looking at the trees. What is that? Just you're trying to pace yourself. You're looking at your watch, trying to improve your times. I was very competitive. Got back into the bathroom in the dorm. We had a suite, so we had my room with Paul, then Jeff. Then we had Ed, Craig, and Jeff there. Then Brian and Luke were there. And then an open area with the foosball tables and things and couches. Then one small bathroom. The bathroom had a big sliding wooden door. You could not get in without being heard. It's heavy. It rattled. Then we had one toilet, 2 sinks with mirrors, so you brush your teeth and your hair and things. Then one stand-up shower with a curtain about this wide. Didn't really do anything. So, hey, how you doing? Like the curtain did nothing. So it's just there for show, I guess. Anyway, so it's kind of funny, I thought. Missed the spot. Anyway, so after the run, I'm all sweaty. I go into the shower. I'm taking my shower, and I'm thinking about the summertime and running all these races. And all of a sudden, it's dark in the room. I thought the light went out. The light was still on, but above me was this shadow, this dark shadow with a tilted head. I'm like, that's the ghost. So just in case, maybe I rubbed my eyes. It was the after effect. I went in the middle of the room, looked around. Nobody's there. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call the priest for round 2. I'm going to go back in the shower, turn the water off, and then get the cell phone. I mean, the payphone back in the day and call. Remember that? Ma, it's for you. And the cord goes as far. Well, anyway, so as I turn the water off, it's a handle like this, a lever. I get stabbed. It feels like I'm stabbed in the back with a knife. There's no pain, just force. But if you cut your finger making salad, you don't feel the pain. It's a clean cut. But later on, it's like, ooh, under the water, right? So I know what it feels like to have a sharp thing on your back. So I turn and I punch, because if someone attacks me, I'm like that girl in the movie. Oh no, why are you hitting me? Like, stop it. I went the wrong way backwards. Stop it. Are you an Aquarius? I always told myself, if I get attacked, I'm fighting back. My dad said to me, don't start a fight, finish a fight. Yeah. And so as hard as I could punch, I punched. It went into the shower curtain. The curtain came in around me. Boom. Looked around. Nobody. I looked in the mirror. All I saw on my back, there was no knife. There were these 3 scratches bleeding. I'm thinking, what the hell is that? And I screamed, who are you? What are you? Show yourself, you coward. Show yourself. And all I could hear was the dripping of the water from the outlet, the shower. Boop, boop. That was it. Then either because of the pain or the fear or the shock or the cold, I just fell on my face on this disgusting bathroom floor, right? And I'm lying there and I can't move. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm dying. I thought by my mother. My mother back in the 60s went to college. For a woman to go to college in the 60s was unheard of. It was a great opportunity. She gave up college to have me. And now here I am as a teenager dying on the floor of a college. I thought, she doesn't deserve this. Her whole life is behind her now, And so I made sure not to make a face, make my face calm. So in the casket, I won't look at him in pain. Just kind of, so you can see, okay, look, he looks at rest. So my mom, I thought about first. And then I saw on my wrist 1 droplet of water, a pear-shaped droplet, like a bead. And it was sparkling. It looked pretty cool, Remember that thing from Tom Hanks' Castaway, Wilson?
Yes.
But it's funny how, like, when you're in trauma, like, one object can hold you in place and keep you grounded. And that was the drop of water. But the room was upside down. I thought, okay, well, water refracts light. That's science. Cool. Then it fell. First, I was sad. I'm like, damn it, my water, But I thought, wait, it drops because of gravity, 9.8 feet per second. So I have refraction. I have gravity. I looked down by my face, and the grout in the tile was darkened. That's moisture. So science was working. But what was this? And I realized I don't know what to do. I don't know how to keep living this way. I don't know if I can keep doing this where my world is so different. And it might have been like dyslexia, where a student sees what you see, but sees it differently. So you're being stupid. Stop fooling around. You're lazy. But they're not. They just see things differently, and they have to work through that. And that really, as a person, surviving that really made me a better teacher nowadays from that experience of feeling so different and not knowing how to understand my environment. Well, anyway, the door pushed open, the warm, dry air came over my ankles. It felt so good. And then I heard Jeff, like, Chris, what happened? And he picked me up. You're bleeding. I put the towel around me. He brought me back into his room. And that's where Ed was there and Linda and Beth and everybody. And like, oh, you're naked. I didn't care. I'm bleeding and they looked at the attack and I think two whatever's about that, We're going to the hospital. We're going to the hospital. I'm like, I am not going to the hospital. That makes no sense. You're hurt. They started gathering around me like a circle. I'm like, oh no, it's one of those intervention things, right? At least on TV, like, poor kid. He needs the help from the family. He doesn't understand. They just love him. Why doesn't he go with them? No, but it's me now. I'm like, no, I'm the one in the middle. What? And I knew they wanted to help me because I'm bleeding. It makes sense. You get the wounds taken care of. You clean them out and stuff. But I knew if I went there, that they would sedate me because I'm either self-harming or, they'd say that I'm on drugs or something like that. And it would find me. I would sleep in a different room every night until it found me. That vending machine scene, I did that. I slept by the vending machine with the soda, the pop, because every 15 minutes I had to chill the soda. It'd go, it'd wake me up like, okay, I'm safe. I can sleep again. That was my alarm clock. Every 15 minutes, the vending machine. I was trying to stay awake. It was like survival in like the military, Well, anyway, I said I had to somehow make them understand. He said, I'll fight you. I'm like, I said I'd fight you. They're my friends. I look like I'm insane now, right? So I had to think. Their lens, my lens. Their lens, my lens. Okay. I said, get some peroxide. Get some bandages. Get some cotton swabs. So for 47 minutes, it was peroxide, cotton swabs. Ooh, my back. Ow. Bandage. My whole back had bandaged down the whole back. I wore no shirt for 3 days because they'll pull their bandage off if you put it on and off. That's the thing. So I found a commonality. They stopped the bleeding. It's no longer infected. I don't go to the hospital. So during those moments, I was just trying to find ways to have my reality and their reality meet. That's why I don't hate people all the time. I don't get angry at people because I understand we don't see the same things the same way. Yesterday, we had the World Baseball Classic, right? So, let's say it's Korea versus Japan or something like that. The score's a score. But if your team wins, it's a great game. Your team loses, it's a terrible game. So people who are smart, who are sober, can have the different reaction to the same stimulus. And people say, well, okay, Chris, here's the biggest question I get about the show. If that really happened, where's the picture? Where's the picture of the back scratches? You get pictures of everything else. It seems to me that'd be the one you want, right? We were in that room on Jeff's bed, and Jeff said, I'll never forget his line. He said just like this, he goes, the natural light is fading. If we want a picture, we'll get it now. He took his camera like this behind me. And I don't know, Jen, Mondo, Joy, I just was tired of being the ghost boy. I was like in a science experiment. I was a freak. I just wanted somebody to like me for who I was. So I said, Jeff, if you're my friend, you won't take that picture. He said, what? What are you talking about? I said, Jeff, if you're my friend, you won't take this. Why? I'm like, Jeff, I don't want to see it ever again. I don't even remind you of this. I just want somebody to walk me. Please, I'm begging you for my friend. Don't take it. He said, but if I take, fine, I won't take it. And so there's no picture of that, but I can tell you this. I have a friend for life now. Like a blood brother, a battle buddy, It's just I wasn't investigating or surviving. So the fact there's no picture is my fault. I wish looking back I hadn't said that. I wish I didn't need that reinforcement. I wish Jeff didn't listen to me. But that's what friends do. They help each other. So that's why it doesn't exist. Although I can tell you that my cousin took a video. We made a home video not long after that. I was Jungle Boy running around Jungle Boy in my wearing leaves. And I forgot about my back scratches. And like, what happened? I'm like, oh, those college girls. Right? I don't say anything about the ghosts. Right? Oh, dude, my man. Woo! Right? But so there is a blurred picture of images of the scratches on my back, and they are gruesome.
There's a lot of experiences that people do have that are paranormal that we never have evidence of. I mean, that does happen. So, and sometimes it's not meant for everybody. It's only meant for you or like the people who's happening to.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's
would you say that was the most difficult part of revisiting? Rewatching the show, seeing that part all over again? Was that like a memory that?
Yeah, that was the hardest part. Watching the attack in the shower and trying to survive it, and not knowing because at that point in time I really thought I was dying. I didn't want to die and didn't just know how to stop from dying, you know. And I just knew, because they talk about oppression and possession and all these stages of hauntings and things and being taken over. I think part of it is just being worn down. I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't sleep anymore. I wasn't eating properly. I think I lost like 17 pounds in like 2 weeks. Wish I could do that nowadays, but I'll tell you, it was hard. So bad. I was a runner and I wasn't a runner. I was popular. Now I'm an outcast. I was Chris, the fun guy to hang out with. Now I'm the ghost boy. I'm passing. Now I'm failing. It's just my whole life collapsed over this mostly invisible thing that almost no one saw and few heard. I thought, this is a bad place to be, you know. And even the ghost boy name bothered me a lot. I don't like that. When you're in high school, you pick what you're going to be. You pick your thing. You're a stoner. You're a geek. You're a nerd. You're a brain. You pick what you want. You dress that way. You act that way. Those are your friends. Yeah, you're not really that, but that's how you want to. You project that out, right?
Right.
Well, it's tough when someone says you're this. You're like, no, I'm not. Yes, you aren't. Everyone says you are. Doesn't matter what you say now, because if 50 people say it, that's the truth. So I suffered under that, being the ghost boy. Like, that's the ghost boy. It's the ghost boy. Which is why I was scared of Netflix, because they would define me again, right? That's the old wound kind of thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wow.
To me, I think the sad thing watching towards the end was like that kind of everybody went their separate ways. And to me, I was like, man, they experienced so much that they needed to kind of separate apart. But I always hope that you guys kind of like brought it back together and stayed friends. Because you guys shared that traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Yep. None of us remember actually saying goodbye, really. Like, just the semester ended and just off we went. I talked to Jeff a little bit, back and forth letter writing and things. We were going to be roommates the following year, but the good thing about that, it's sad, but the good thing is that we each went home with a specific lens or experience. So later on, it's not tarnished by anybody else. So when we get together 30 years later, 40 years later, it's still fresh. It's still unique. It's not changed by other people's reactions to it. So it's fascinating to see. So that's why you said that. That's where you went. That's what you meant. So we're still learning 40 years later about, what we were doing back then. It's, who would have thought a bunch of college kids running around saying, help me, is now been seen by 9 million people across the globe. It's just so silly, right? But Jeff and I, Linda and I, Craig and I, we stay in touch. Beth a little bit, Father Charlie, my dad. So yeah, I think the best part of the haunting is the legacy of the friendships that were forged, because like no time has passed now. We're a little older and grayer and, but we're still the same people we were back then. It's nice to know you kind of can go home again and that we made it through. And everyone did, so.
Yeah. With your dad, like, because he was more on the scientific side with everything. And then having that happen to you, did he end up, not now, is he obviously more open now, or did he kind of veer back to like, well, maybe that was just like a one random thing?
Oh, like a one-off.
Yeah, like a one-off.
Yeah. It's alcohol can be fun, right? It can be dangerous. A gun can be useful. It can be dangerous. Love can be fun. It can be dangerous, right? So my dad, even though he saw some things, didn't want to talk about it. It's dangerous to go there. He said, change your room, get away from that stuff. People don't believe this, but the truth is we didn't talk about that for 30 years. We talked about it for the first time when Sci-Fi came knocking on my door in 2012. And he said a little bit, but this last time he knew Netflix is a pretty big deal. It'd be a big docuseries. So he talked to me what happened. And he said, I went in that room, Chris, and I told you it goes through me. And you fell asleep for the first time. I was happy for you. And then it got so cold in that room, I saw my breath. I thought, the window's open. It wasn't. The heat's off. It was on. I said, how can it be 60 degrees in here and I'm seeing my breath? Then I got these chills. I felt nauseous, but I wasn't sick. I was feeling nausea from some other place, like that closet area. And, he actually opened the closet to see if he, could do something about it. He had a gun with him and everything, So he said, this is bad. This is bad. Change your room. And that's good advice, but you really can't change your room at the end of a college semester. People have the room set. You got to wait. And if I did do that and someone got attacked, I'd feel terrible, right? So but that's just how it goes. People criticize him saying, what kind of dad leaves his son behind with something in like that room? I'll tell you one thing. My dad dropped everything because I was in trouble and he loved me. He dropped everything. It was my sister's prom. He didn't bring her to the prom that night because he was so worried about me. She got angry at me for that for years. But because I was in trouble, he made that 5-hour trip in 4 hours.
Wow.
He didn't know. He loved his son. Then he said, you know what? You can handle this. I don't know what's happening here, but I believe in you. You know, change the room, but I think something like that. He believed I could get through it somehow. So I love him for caring about me, for prioritizing me when it could have been some kind of stupid joke. I love him for staying the night with me and protecting me in case it was something physical, like some kind of, you know, gang initiation or something like that. And I love the fact that he told me, I believe in you. We're here for you. So I have nothing but good things to say about my father in terms of the haunting.
Yeah,
I love
I think
that.
they portrayed that really good.
Yeah, me too.
Like I didn't feel like I go, wow, he just left him there. Like I feel like, you know, you like how you said, drop everything off.
Yeah, he was supportive,
and then just go straight to you. So yeah,
he's like, oh, you go and sleep. You got your good night's rest, and I'll stay up. And yeah, he was supportive. I thought
your comments are in the chat are incredibly. They're funny though. I love them. Your comments you get, your people are great.
They're talking about alcohol and spirits.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
Guys. Oh my
different kind of spirits.
Different spirits. Exactly.
Yes.
You know if do you know if anybody else ever felt anything? Not, even if it's not related to Tommy, right? That spirit, like anything else at that location.
I asked when I went back the first time 25 years after when I first started talking about it, and no one had seen her, heard anything, which made me very, very, very happy. One young woman and her boyfriend wanted to see if they could provoke the ghost. They heard about this years later, and they went for summertime, and they started yelling and cursing at it and doing bad things, and they both got sick and threw up and went home and broke up. So that's all I know about, you know, bad make bad. You know, it's like good for you guys, smart thinking. Let's say everything good. That's nothing. So I'm thankful because I really want, as much as that thing was horrifying, and I was angry at it, I wanted to punish it as a human being. When I saw it looked so sad, I'm happy it seemed to have found rest because it seemed like the right thing for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw the two different approaches, the way you handled it and the way they did, and look what ended up happening to them.
Yes. Like,
we have a comment or a question from one of our good friends, Michael, from Limestone's Spirit Chase. Limestone. Sorry, Limestone. No S. So Michael asks, is there anything you wish you would have done differently?
Yes. I wish I knew more going in. You know, I didn't know anything. And so when it started to attack me and my friends, I thought this thing is evil and vicious, a demon of some kind, probably, right? Like in the movies. But the more I think about it, you know, even your pet cat or dog will scratch or bite if they're hurt or scared at you and they're part of the family. People will get vicious when you break up with them and they say horrible things and post things on Facebook, right? So I think it was more the case that it was hurt, desperate, afraid, and just trying to find some answer for itself. And when I could hear it and see it, he thought, oh, this is my chance to end the suffering for hundreds of years. And then I pushed it away. I tried to get the priest to push it away. I didn't. I think it got like anxious and just, what are you doing? And so frightened and desperate, it lashed out. So I think that's more of the approach. I also wish that I had agreed to Jeff taking more of the photographs. I wish I was braver in that first night, took more pictures than this is the one picture. I wish that I let him take the picture of my back. I wish I had talked to Ed and Lorraine afterwards and said, hey, what was that about? You know, I wish a lot of things. But all I can tell you was, as a person who'd had no background and who was scared to death and was made mistake after mistake after mistake, I feel very fortunate that I was honest enough with my friends and kind enough that they stood by me through this ordeal.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back and quarterback it, but it's just the way things go. You can't. If you ask me honestly with my heart, if I could go back and have it never happen, I'd say yes. I wish it would never happen. I'd rather have it not have happened. But since it did happen, I try to deal with it the best I can. And if I can have some kid in Brazil wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I'm not alone, or some young woman, in the Philippines say this happened to me, and tell me, if I can do some good. That's the cool about Netflix. Now forever, wherever they are, it's in 29 languages. It's in all these countries. They can see what happened, and hopefully they benefit from my struggles. And that'd be a great thing.
Bingo.
Is that fair?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I know you didn't have the goal was go to university, get as far as to the point of becoming the Olympic runner. Like you were mentioning, you would have been in that '92 Barcelona, which I know US was rocking it.
Yeah.
But maybe this was your path. your path is to
Yes.
be, hey, I'm dealing with something similar that Chris dealt with, So
Yes.
yeah, that route didn't go for you, but this path did, and you may be an inspiration or
That's what
some
was
type
meant
of
to
help.
happen.
Yeah, that's what was meant for you, I believe.
Can I springboard for that, Mondo?
Yeah.
I actually watched John run that. It was like 2 a.m. It was middle of the night, and at the time we lived in a very small little apartment, and my daughter had woken up, and so I think at the time she might have been like 3. So I saw him running, like, oh my God, that's John. He's in the Olympics. Oh, I want to be in the Olympics so bad. I was like envious of him. Then I looked at my daughter on my shoulders. Her little green eyes were glowing at the TV set. I'm like, oh my God, what am I saying? I have my little daughter here. I mean, that's a medal's a medal. Like this beautiful young woman, this little creature I helped her make is right here. And she can, a medal can't talk back to you. A medal can't make a song. A medal can't. This is so. It was sobering. I'm getting emotional about it. That in that moment of like, oh, this sucks. I didn't pursue my dreams. I realized honestly that it's okay because what I have in my life is actually better than my dream. Now that I realized it, So.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I agree with that. 100%, man. The best thing in my lifetime, better than anything I've ever accomplished in life, is being a father. There's nothing better than that. So thank you very much.
That was on me. I did it myself.
Yes, you did much work. Hello.
Somebody said about how I had so many experiences but no proof except one. Yeah, but like how we said, as far as for investigators, there's so many things that happen off camera while we're setting up. We're literally shutting down and putting everything away, and it's just something that, we have numerous things that will just be in-house. Now, all we can do is just talk about it, but there is no proof of it. But I know it happened to me.
Yep.
Nobody's gonna take that away. You know what I'm saying? And nobody will take that away from you or your friends.
Of course. That's something that is gonna be with you guys for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
My grandfather fought in World War II in the Pacific Theater. He was drafted. He had to go. Get married real quick to my grandma before he left, just in case. They had some fun at the honeymoon, and off he went. My dad was born when he was overseas. So he didn't see his kid for a while, And remember, the Japanese would sometimes strafe the island with the planes and drop bombs and things. They have these drills where they sound the alarm, and you had to go in the foxhole down in the pits, And he said there were spiders there and vomit and poop. It was horrible there, So him and his friends said, next time there's a drill, we're just gonna stay in the tent, just sleep. But it wasn't a drill. And then they dropped the bomb. His friend was blown up into pieces. They found his arm mostly. My grandpa, they found him about 30 yards away. He was unconscious. They thought he was dead. They started dragging him to the pit. He goes, I'm alive. And they put him back to health. And he said, at that point in time, I asked God for one thing, to get me home, to hug my wife, and see my little boy. That's all I want. And if I get those 2 things in life, that's all I will need. And he got to go home and see his wife again, my grandma, and see his son, my dad. And I'll never forget, he was about in his 50s. He just getting toward retirement. We went to Atlantic City. He went to the gambling casinos, and he always played his badge number for the lottery each week. He played it every week. He played the number every week. We went to New Jersey. He forgot to play it. His number came up. I'm like, oh. So I said, Grandpa, are you angry? He goes, no. He says, I won the lottery a long time ago. What do you mean? He goes, he told me the story about saying to God, if I can just see my wife and kids, yes, I won my lottery. I'm good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a perfect way to look at it. Exactly.
We forget sometimes, right?
Yeah, how blessed we are. Just wake up every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's true.
Well, that's a good way to end the show.
I think so too. I think so too. Chris, it's been amazing getting to talk with you. And we're definitely appreciative, the 3 of us, Joey, that couldn't make it. We're definitely appreciative of you spending some time with us and our viewers and everybody in the chat room. Thank you very much for commenting. Man, it's been amazing. Thank you very much.
The show is awesome. Thank you for telling your story.
Yes.
Pleasure to be here. I'm happy to do so.
Yeah.
I'll be in Florida sometime, hopefully this summertime. Maybe I'll say hello. I love it down there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah,
we'll be here.
Everybody goes to Florida.
We're melting away.
We'll be here melting away at that point.
Yeah. Chris, any the
Well, I know you
floor
have
is yours.
Yeah, do you have events?
Do you have any events or anything like that folks can check you out at?
I'm so bad at this, all the events. If they go to CIT Ventures.com, that's my publisher for the book and everything like that. And the schedule's on there, or Facebook or Instagram, all those things. Yes, I'm going to be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash.
Damn, man, we didn't go. We're not going this year. I would have loved to have met you. We went 2 years ago.
I'm going to be at the Cryptid Convention, the 4th one in Princeton, New Jersey. I'm going to be at the Sci-Fi Horror Con in Vernon Downs in upstate New York. I'm going to be speaking in Connecticut. I mean, there's like 15 events coming up. It's going to be so much fun, you know, and I'm just very grateful people find value in having me appear. I'm thankful for that, you know, and I'm going to make the most of it. You know, just shake some hands, get mugs, have some ice cream.
Chris, please talk about your book. I didn't even we didn't get to mention your book. Please.
Oh, yeah. It's called, ironically, maybe not, The Ghost Boy of Eerie Hall. I was going to call it Common Tankins, but it didn't make any sense. But, you know, and this picture, this is the toga party that you see in the show.
Yeah.
And that's the first time, this is the last picture of me before I show the ghost of innocence, the last one at the toga party. So I start the book with that photograph, and it's 400 pages. It's very comprehensive. It talks about the people that you're going to see in the show, their backgrounds, how we came together, what we were thinking. It's my magnum opus. It's on Amazon right now. It's in hardcover, softcover, Kindle, and audiobook. So it's all out there right there, you know, and I feel proud of it because when I'm gone, people can see visually the Netflix show, and I can read the book, and this way my message is out there. I talk about, you know, turning the corner and looking at things, and I'm proud of it. I'm not really an author per se, but I'm very proud. And we had it edited by a New York Times, so it's actually well edited and things too. So it's really cool.
Yeah, congratulations on it.
And the 4 is done by J. Jeff Unger, my friend Jeff, who you saw in the show.
Okay.
Good. I pinned the website, Seed Adventures, on the chat, so everybody check out.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dantex, for doing that. Also, well, I guess that is all, folks. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Spooked Coast to Coast. The best way you can show us love is by showing our guests and including Chris love by supporting them with wherever he's at a con, or check out his website, maybe purchase a book. That's the best way you can show us love here at Spooked Coast to Coast. But as always, guys, please remember, if you want to get spooked, hit that notification bell, the like button, and please feel free to comment on this episode. Tell your friends, tell your family. Watch Spooked Coast. See you guys live next Sunday.
Bye-bye.